Welcome to Doula Discovery Week, brought to you by the Perinatal Academy. This is your space to explore what it truly means to be a doula. Throughout the week, we'll dive into stories, insights, and practical tips to inspire and empower you on this journey, all bite-sized to fit into your day to help you discover how you can support families, change lives, and transform your own. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this chat today with me, Sam, founder of the Perinatal Academy, and Atosa, one of our doula guides. Hi, Atosa.
Hello, hi Sam. Thanks for having me on today. I'm Atosa and I am a doula, one of the doula trainers, and I have been doing this work now since I'd say 2020 and absolutely loving it. I'm really excited that I'm going to be connecting with some doulas to be as well and sort of guiding you on this amazing journey.
Oh, I love that. And I'm just delighted to have you part of the Perinatal Academy. And I just wondered if you might just kind of quickly tell everybody why you wanted to come and join us.
Mhm. Well, when you first told me about it, I was super excited. And when you described what you wanted to do with it, I was even more excited. And I think it's because the way you've put everything together, I think it's really for the modern doula. Like it is just, it's got, it's really accessible and really super inclusive, which is what I think is great about it. And I think the aim throughout all of it is to get you to a place where you feel confident to translate that learning into practice. So it's not like you're just reading a how-to guide on how to be a doula, but it's immersing yourself into the life of a doula to the
Mhm.
point where, you feel you've already been walking that path. And I think the way the training is put together is it's basically birthing doulas who are confident. And I think being confident is super important because that's what's going to give your clients that confidence. For you being confident in yourself, ultimately they're going to be confident in you, and that's such an important part of being a doula, isn't it? Like your clients feeling safe and supported by you and in your presence. So I think having that confidence is really important. And not only that, it's afterwards as well. There's this sense of connection and shared purpose in the supportive network that the Perinatal Academy creates for everyone who trains there. So that at the end of your training, you've just got this community to be part of and this safe space to grow and be nurtured in. And I think that's really special. And yeah, that's what I think I really love about the training and how you sort of look after everyone that's training with you.
I love that. I love birthing confident doulas because that's just such a
Yeah.
massive part of it. And also, confidence grows, at the end of any course that you do, the aim is for you always to feel ready to kind of take that next step. But we do know that takes time, which is why that network that we have, that community that we have is so important because I always say like, the work really starts once you kind of finish the training and the work starts then. And
It
that's
doesn't stop. The work doesn't
well, it
stop.
does it? And the learning doesn't stop, the work doesn't stop, like the self-reflection doesn't stop. Like, and I actually think that's a wonderful part of doing this work. Like, we give you a certificate at the end, but that's not just a big tick to say done. It's just the beginning, isn't it? Which is amazing. So I just love that. And just love that you're on board with us. So think about so that we're talking about people beginning and people starting, and I would like you to share a bit of your wisdom with everybody and give us kind of three things. Like I asked you to think about maybe like the top three things that you would want to share to somebody who is considering starting this pathway of becoming a doula.
Yeah, yeah. And one of them, the first one I'm going to say, goes back to what we were just saying, and it's about, yes, we want you to come out and be this confident doula, ready to take on the work. But number one, remember that you won't know everything. And I think that's really, really important. your presence matters more than perfection. And I think the most powerful thing that you can bring to a birth space isn't expertise all the time. It isn't knowing everything. It isn't having all the information. It definitely isn't perfection. But it's your presence. And, I can think of so many times where I've supported families in the past where what's helped them and supported them more than any sort of specific information I've shared with them or specific technique I've used with them is how I've made them feel. It's making them feel safe, seen and supported more than anything else. And you don't need to know everything to start the work. Be open about that as well. Feel confident in the fact that you don't know all the answers. And I think that shows authenticity, and builds that connection even more with your families. They don't expect you to know everything either. And I think often when we're starting out, that can be a bit of a hurdle. That can be a bit of a block for us where we think, well, I don't know everything and other doulas know more than me. And it really isn't about that. And I think often people will choose you not for you knowing everything. So I think that's something really important to remember.
Love that. Thank you.
Secondly, I would say it's really important to be able to take the ego out of the work. It's not about us fixing it. It's not about, us leading it or taking charge of this journey. It's the family's journey. It's their thing, and we are holding that space. So I think there's obviously we talk about doulas doing and sort of the art of not doing, and feeling confident enough to sort of step back and trust the birthing person and the process that's happening. And rather than you trying to control or fix situations that might happen, but really allowing them to lead it, and feel empowered in leading it. And I would say that when we're thinking about trying to remove our ego, one thing that always helps me, because we all have an ego,
Mm.
and it's something I think for me, I think one of my biggest life battles, and I think everyone should be removing our ego from everything. And one thing that really helps me to do that is remembering that a superpower I have is listening.
Mm.
That is, listening deeply can be a superpower, because what you do in that, the magic that happens when actually you just listen is you allow your client or your family to reflect back on their own wisdom. And that often is everything, that is all the reassurance that they need, because they have the answers quite often. And actually being that listener allows them to find the answers that they need. So I think that's something that I've really learned over these years. And obviously I haven't completely got it yet, but something I'm getting better at, I think, and trying to be better at as well.
I love that. I think for ego as well, like we always kind of really think about that word with quite negative connotations. And I think the ego that we bring to birth work is really well-meaning. Like it's because we're trying to help, we want to share experiences, but actually it's not the right space to be about us. And I love that. And also it's really important to know, because I hear you, I had to do so much work about this when I first started, and still doing it like you, is that you can practice to remove your ego from situations. And the first one, like you say, is listening. Just listen. And then the one that I think I still do a daily battle with myself is responding, not reacting. So quite often someone will say something to me and I just want to react immediately, because actually sometimes I think, oh, I know the answer. I know the answer to this. Or
Yeah, it's so hard.
I had this, so yay, I can help. And actually it's just taking a beat, going, is it even relevant that I shared a similar situation? No, take a pause and then straight back. So I think, it can feel really overwhelming to look into that sort of stuff at the beginning, but we talk about this all the time because it's
It's
such
something that has to be practiced all the time as well. And it's not just you practice it once and then you've got it. Like, you have to keep doing that practice and practicing it, in your relationships with your
yeah,
friends. As
yeah, yeah. And with my husband
well. Yes.
benefits from me not from me trying to respond, not react.
Yeah, it's funny actually, because I actually consciously tried to practice a bit of active listening with my husband once, and he kind of looked at me like,
What are you doing?
"Hey," like, because I was really listening and mirroring back, and it was something about cars or something. Like I normally try to have no interest in, and he was like, "You really interested?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm really listening."
Yeah. Or why are you being a bit weird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it really
Amazing.
does change the flow, and yeah, I think it can be
Yeah,
definitely.
love that. And really, really important. And again, actually, really helpful in your own life. And I think that's another thing, that the skills that you kind of you delve into, that you have, that you develop in this work, it personally have really helped, like they've enriched my personal life, which is something that I think we should talk about maybe later in later in the week. But it's very enriching. It's enriching for your clients. It's enriching for your work. It can be enriching for you personally, for your family. Like it's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not one of those, it's not that work where it's 9 to 5 and you come home and you forget about it. It is, it seeps into your whole being and your everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Uh,
love that.
mm.
Okay, so the third one.
Third one, what was my third one? My third one was um, to not underestimate the antenatal side of doula support. Because I think we talk about the birth a lot, and obviously the birth is an amazing part of it. But the antenatal side of it, this is where a lot of the magic really happens. Before like way before labor, when you're first connecting with the family that you're working with, that's where you're really building the confidence in that relationship, where you're really laying that foundation for the positive birth experience, because that's where you're building that trust and confidence. And we know that, having a doula can have a really amazing impact on outcomes. And that comes down to that continuity of support, right? And that antenatal period where you're working with your families is where you can really connect with them, build that trust with them, create that safe space with them. Obviously, it's a time when you can share information with them on physiological birth, on coping strategies, or navigating, preparing them to navigate the maternity system in a way that's empowering, as opposed to sort of overwhelming. Obviously, lots of cups of tea and connection. This is where they feel heard, really heard by someone. This is where, you're building up that assurance with them. And it's just all the groundwork, basically, so that you're setting that tone. So when they get there, often there's not so much you need to do, because your presence there, they've already been through so much with you. Your presence will have such a powerful impact on them, you just being there. Um, so yeah, it's about not underestimating, I think, that, yeah, what you can do antenatally with your client. And I think often that's why, I mean, in my personal experience, I find that when I've worked with a client very close to their birth, I haven't had as much opportunity to build that trust and confidence with them. And I think obviously you can still give them that, but having that time to build it up with them really does make a difference, I think. Yeah.
I love that. Mars Lord, another one of our, excuse me, doula educators, TPA, she says that 95% of the work is done before they even go into labor. And like, I really love that. And just echoing like what you said, that closeness that that you form together
Yeah.
is really magical, and just having somebody that you can WhatsApp a question to when
Yes.
you've just seen something on the internet that, when you're expecting a baby can, either feel a little bit scary or pique your interest, is just priceless also, isn't it? That care and that feeling of kind of again, it's confidence, isn't it? To feel confident and safe. And yeah, can't underestimate that sort of support. So I love that. And I also know, I know you, and I know just, how kind of caring and nurturing you are with all your clients. And I wish I'd had an Atosa when I had my daughter. Honestly, I really do. Maybe I'll just come round and I can just hang out in your birth pool, and you can just some music and sing your songs to me just one evening, just to chill out.
I've said that myself about so many doulas, and I think that is because often we come to this work because we're called to it, right? And it is just in our nature. And here we are. We've always been that person that wants to care and nurture for people around us. So there's so many doulas. I'm like, I want to have another baby just to be doulaed by you, because
I
say that all the time.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So look, thank you so much. I just wanted to finish off with the majority of people that are going to be watching and engaging with our Discovery Week this week are either curious about starting life as a doula, or are really wanting to start to look at following that calling, as you said. So I just wanted you to maybe pass on a little bit of knowledge or a tip, or give them to something to think about, maybe specifically when they're thinking about who they're going to pick to guide them, support them, train them on the journey.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we all did it ourselves, looked at all the providers out there and thought, how do I pick from all these amazing providers? How do I pick? It's really, really hard. And, everyone will tell you to go with your gut and go with your heart. And absolutely, I think do that. That's how I picked my child's nursery. That's how I picked my child's school. You go in and you think this feels right. And often you might, you feel a bit emotional, maybe like, oh, this is touching me somewhere. But I think using our brain as well, is good. It's like, what do we want out of a doula course? How do we want to feel after we finish this doula course? And I would think about, you want to feel like you've learn what it's like to be a doula, but also I think feeling that confidence then to go out in the world and be that doula, and looking at what kind of support you've got afterwards, as well, because we all need it. No matter how many years down the line as a doula, having a supportive community is absolutely essential, and we'll all say it. It's often lonely work because we're doing it on our own. So having community is really essential. So I think, how do you want to feel afterwards? And is there going to be a community that's looking after you and keeping you, guiding you as you go on that journey?
Thank you so much. And I totally agree. I think it's really important to, do your research, but also talk to people, meet the people, see the people that are going to be training you and guiding you. So we offer discovery calls. We like to speak to everybody. We like to see people's faces. We like to find out about them. And it's really important that, as you say, quite often you can get all the questions answered, but sometimes the vibe just might not be right. And that's why I think it's really important that you do that you spend a bit of time talking to the people that are going to be kind of guiding you through your journey. So, you can do that with us. We would always love to speak to you if you're thinking about doing this work. Atosa, thank you so much for coming on and giving up some of your time today to talk about your amazing work as a doula. We absolutely love the fact that you're one of our guides here. We'll be hearing more from you throughout the week in other ways. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Speak soon. Bye.
Thank you for joining our Doula Discovery Week. We hope you're feeling inspired and one step closer to discovering your doula pathway. Don't forget to check out today's other resources and join the conversation with us. Until next time, stay inspired. There's so much more to discover.